Yo, Black Friday's around the corner, and what we have in store for you this year is going to blow your mind. Get early access and all the details by going to blackfridaywithkim.com. It's one of those things where I think if that's what your heart is saying and that's what you know is the right path for you, step into it boldly. Like, do it even if you're afraid, and don't beat yourself up for doing it.
Right?
Yes.
She says, how do you niche down without making your existing customers mad? I've decided to focus on helping online entrepreneurs with bookkeeping and taxes, but I have brick and mortar service provider clients. I'm afraid if I make my website and content too targeted, my existing customers will think I don't care about their business anymore, or I plan on dumping them. I love my existing customers and I don't want to dump them, but I can't really take on any more brick and mortar customers because they have more needs than I can serve and keep my full-time job for now. I feel like I would be able to scale better with this online entrepreneur niche and possibly create online courses, etc. I would love to hear what you think. I feel like I can create better content if I focus on this niche. I've said both the same. Niche. P.S. I had to take some time away to collect myself and think about what I want to do going forward. I hope I can join the call live. Missed these calls.
We miss you too, Kat.
Yeah. So I can probably address this.
Me too, because I've done it.
Yeah, we both have done it. I'm trying to think, how did we do it to where it didn't bother people? I think we just had a open and honest conversation with them directly about what made more sense for our business and why we were going that direction versus just transitioning online and having them find out via the web.
So my thing is she
maintaining
is she
those
saying
customers?
we're not going to work with you? If she doesn't want to work with brick and mortar clients anymore, that's one conversation. And then if you're transitioning from a branding and content perspective, that's another conversation. So let's quickly address both.
Yeah.
We've had those difficult conversations with clients where they were attached at the hip and did not want to let go, even though we told them we love you and we'll find someone to replace us. We're no longer working with small business owners. We're working with this kind of, or we're not working with this kind of business, we're working with another kind of, because we're still working with online small business owners, just different. So do you want to start that convo, and then I'll jump in with my tips? But I think let's talk about that first, and then let's talk about branding and kind of transitioning so that new people clearly understand that who your services are for.
So if you're dumping them and you're going to completely move on and go a different direction, I think it's a great time to have a conversation with them, open and honest and transparent conversation about where you are in your life. And also, too, it's the time for you to be really candid and be like, I have a full-time job, and the nature of what's required for this, it's not good for either of us because it severely reduces my bandwidth, and you deserve. So always flip it back to them. You deserve somebody that can commit the time, the necessary time and effort that's required to do what you need to be done. And I think that will allow for you to peacefully kind of move in a different direction. If you plan on keeping those people and just kind of eventually when they phase themselves out going in a different direction, I think that's a different conversation. And I would just approach it as, here's the deal. We're strategically taking a new direction. We want to continue. We love working with you, or I love, you're not a we, you're an I at this point, but I love working with you guys. And you might see that I'm transitioning a different way. I am being more selective with who I work with, and you are one of the people that I'm going to maintain and continue to work with. But you may see online that I am starting to transition a lot of my marketing message and so on and so forth to kind of appeal to what I have found to be a really nice niche market for me to target and to work with that fits both my lifestyle and also my future plans. They have to respect that, professionally speaking, that you are taking your business in the direction that's best suited for you. It really then comes down to how you approach it. And I don't see any way around you just having an open and honest conversation with transparency. If you have a good working relationship with these people, it's in many cases what I have noticed and what I have personally found. Again, I know this is anecdotal, but I can almost promise you'll experience something similar, is that in many cases, they actually have already made the observation that this is not beneficial for you and that they understand when you make that decision. So A couple of the times that I've done that, they actually had wondered why we stuck around as long as we had because of the nature of the work that was required, and they had no idea how, as small as we were as an organization, how we could still make time and bandwidth for servicing their specific needs. So they're like, "Well, my guess until this isn't good for him anymore, then we'll keep using it." So they completely understood. And or Catherine, and this is really important too, is they would say, "Okay, but what can we do to make it worth your while?" So what they may end up doing is saying, "We're willing to do this to make your life easier so that we can remain being a client because we do value the services that you render." So either way, whether you end up peacefully kind of parting ways or you end up phasing them out or you end up continuing the relationship, it's still all going to end up in it being far more conducive to you operating the way you need to operate to take your business where it needs to go. What would you add, Kim? You're muted. I can't hear Kim. Can you guys hear Kim?
Oh, can you hear
There
me
you
now?
are. You're back. You're
There,
back. You're
I'm
back. You're back.
back. I'm back. Okay. So, the only thing I would add would be to not be too hard on yourself and not feel guilty.
Yes. No, no,
I
no.
felt
Right.
super
Totally
guilty
agree.
many times in
Totally.
my, in my career, kind of trying to level up my business. And I will always cite this example. Chris's dad actually sat down with me when I was quitting my corporate job and I was working with literally my dream job, you guys. Loved it. It was an amazing company, gave me an incredible start, incredible people. Super, super. I learned so much, but I wanted to work with small business owners. And I remember sitting down for lunch. He took me out to lunch and he said, "Kim, never ever be afraid or feel guilty to move from something good into something better." That changed the game for me because I realized how ridiculous I was being with myself. I had a better opportunity and I owed it to myself and my future clients to actually take that opportunity. So don't feel guilty. You never know the opportunities that might come your way because you decided to step out and make a drastic change in your business. For me, it was having my employer say, "You know what? We're going to do whatever it takes to keep you
Yeah.
on, even if you have your own business." And that made a huge difference because I was able to work with them as a client. They became my first corporate client instead of employing me. It turned out it was way better because they didn't have to pay me benefits. And then I went on and did my thing with other clients. So it's one of those things where I think if that's what your heart is saying and that's what is the right path for you, step into it boldly. Like, do it
Yep.
even if you're afraid, and don't beat yourself up for doing it. I know for me, it was like months of trying to like reconcile. I felt like I was, selfish and that I wasn't grateful for the opportunities I'd been taken. And that was a lot of my conditioning from my childhood. It was like ridiculous. So I'm not saying that's your situation, but don't feel guilty about making that move and do it in a way that feels empowering is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. The fact that you feel conflicted about this, it says it speaks volumes to the integrity of your work,
Yes, 100%.
right? Because people that don't care, like, yeah, I'm out, bye, and they'll just leave them hanging.
Yeah.
Um, so if they do decide that you're going to move on, I would offer a transition plan. By the way, I think what Kim just said is amazing. You need to give yourself permission. I think that's tremendous, tremendous advice. But if you guys do decide this isn't a good fit, okay, we're going to find somebody else. Obviously, yours is a little bit different, I would think, because obviously there's a little bit of time before taxes are due and so on and so forth. But being available to help them with the transition is also a really awesome way for you to feel good about it, and also to help them, and to kind of close the chapter in a way that represents or surmises the nature of the relationship that you got, working relationship you guys had together.
I totally agree. I love that. So I hope that's helpful, Kat. Definitely keep us posted. Love seeing your evolution. And it's actually a good problem to have, to
Yeah, it is.
be so busy with clients that you're like, okay, moving on to the next phase. That's an amazing thing. So
Yep.
round of applause for just
Yeah.
being awesome.
Yeah, that's great stuff.